Reclaiming me. Mothers redefining their lives. Part 1. The Awakening. Introduction. Who am I now? We've all been there, standing in the kitchen, staring into the fridge, trying to remember what you came in for. Meanwhile, a tiny voice in the background asks for snacks, another tiny voice needs help with homework, and somewhere, the washing machine is beeping its final, urgent plea. Somewhere in the midst of it all, you pause and ask yourself a question you never thought you'd have to face. Who am I now? Motherhood, for all its beauty and reward, has a way of reshaping us, sometimes so subtly that we don't even notice it happening. It starts with a sleepless night, a cancelled plan, or a career compromise. Then suddenly, years pass, and you realize you've been so busy pouring into others that your own cup has run dry. It's not that you regret it, you did it all over again for the people you love. But there's a part of you that wonders if you've left something behind, yourself. Let me tell you about Sarah. Before kids, Sarah was an avid runner. Every weekend, she laced up her sneakers and tackled her favorite trails, relishing the fresh air and the rhythm of her feet hitting the ground. She loved it, not just the physical aspect but the sense of freedom and clarity it gave her. Fast forward a decade. Sarah's sneakers now gather dust in the back of the closet, buried under a pile of tiny soccer cleats. Between work meetings, school pickups, and keeping the household afloat, she can't even remember the last time she went for a run. When her youngest finally started kindergarten, Sarah stood in her empty, quiet house and thought, what now? Sarah's story isn't unique. In fact, it's one of the most common experiences of modern motherhood, the quiet erosion of personal identity. But here's the good news: you're not lost forever. Rediscovery is possible, and it doesn't require a drastic overhaul of your life. It starts with small, intentional changes and the courage to reclaim what's already inside you. The myth of the perfect mother. One of the biggest obstacles to reclaiming yourself is the myth of the perfect mother. You know the one. The woman who balances a high-powered career, homemade meals, PTA meetings, and a spotless house while never raising her voice. Spoiler alert: she doesn't exist. But the pressure to live up to this ideal is real, and it can make any attempt at self-care feel like an act of selfishness. Let's shatter that myth right here and now. Taking time for yourself doesn't make you a bad mother. In fact, it makes you a better one. Your kids don't need a perfect mom, they need a happy, fulfilled one. And that starts with rediscovering what makes you feel alive. A journey, not a destination. And rediscovery isn't something you tick off a to-do list. It's an ongoing process, one that evolves as your life and your children do. Think of it as a journey, a series of small, intentional steps toward a fuller, more balanced life. Like any journey, it starts with a single step. For Sarah, that step was dusting off her running shoes. She didn't immediately dive into half marathons or reclaim her Saturday trail routine. Instead, she started with a simple walk around the block, 10 minutes to herself while her husband watched the kids. Slowly, those walks turned into jogs, and those jogs turned into something she looked forward to every day. It wasn't just about exercise, it was about carving out space for herself in the middle of her busy life. Your first step. Now, it's your turn. Take a moment to think about something you loved doing before life got so busy. Was it reading? Painting? Dancing in your living room to cheesy pop songs? Whatever it is, give yourself permission to reconnect with it. It doesn't have to be perfect or Pinterest-worthy, it just has to be yours. Reflection exercise. Grab a notebook or open the Notes app on your phone. Write down 3 things you loved doing before becoming a mother. Next to each one, jot down a small, manageable way to reintroduce it into your life. For example, if you loved reading but can't find the time, start with 10 minutes before bed. Expert insight. Drive. Rebecca Hayes, a clinical psychologist specializing in maternal well-being, explains, mothers often feel guilty about taking time for themselves, but the truth is, self-care is family care. When you're happier and more balanced, your entire household benefits. Start small, and remember that it's okay to prioritize your needs. Overcoming the guilt. Reclaiming yourself doesn't mean abandoning your responsibilities. It's about integrating your passions and priorities into the life you already have. Start by reframing how you view self-care. Instead of seeing it as indulgent, see it as essential. Your family deserves the best version of you, and so do you. Practical tip. Start small. Pick one thing to focus on for now, whether it's 10 minutes of journaling or a weekly coffee date with a friend. Ask for help. Don't be afraid to delegate or ask for support from your partner, friends, or family. Set boundaries. Learn to say no to things that drain you, and yes to things that fill you up. An uplifting reminder. Rediscovering yourself doesn't happen overnight. It's a process, one that requires patience, persistence, and self-compassion. Along the way, you'll have moments of doubt, but you'll also have moments of pure joy, moments when you feel like yourself again. And those moments? They're worth every step. So here's your challenge. Take that first step today, no matter how small. Dust off the running shoes, open the book, pick up the paintbrush. Reclaiming you starts now. And remember, you're not alone on this journey. You've got this. Reflection prompt. What is one small thing you can do this week to reconnect with yourself? Write it down, and make a plan to do it. This isn't just about finding yourself. It's about becoming the best version of you, for yourself and for the people you love. Welcome to the journey. Chapter 1. Permission to prioritize yourself. Let's get one thing straight. Prioritizing yourself is not selfish, it's survival. Yet, for so many mothers, the thought of putting their needs first comes with a side of guilt as heavy as the diaper bag you carried everywhere in the toddler years. Why does it feel so hard to say, "I matter too"? It's not just you. Most of us grew up with a script, written by society, that tells us being a good mother means being endlessly selfless. Always available. Always giving. But here's the thing. That script is flawed. It leaves no room for you to recharge, to grow, or to just be. And let's be real, how can you pour into others when your own cup is bone dry? The guilt trap. Meet Emily. A working mother of two, Emily spent years juggling her career, her kids, and her household, all while feeling like she was falling short. Her breaking point came one evening when she caught herself snapping at her son over a spilled glass of milk. She wasn't angry about the milk, she was angry because she hadn't had a moment to herself all day. When her son burst into tears, she realized she wasn't just running on empty, she was running on fumes. Emily's story might sound familiar. Many mothers find themselves caught in the guilt trap. If I take time for myself, I'm neglecting my family. But the truth is, when you prioritize your own needs, you're not neglecting anyone, you're setting an example. You're showing your children what it means to value yourself, to set boundaries, and to live a life of balance. Why it feels hard. Let's unpack why prioritizing yourself feels so difficult. 1. Cultural expectations. The image of the self-sacrificing mother has been glorified for generations. It's no wonder we feel guilty when we deviate from it. 2. Fear of judgment. Whether it's from your mother-in-law, a fellow mom at the playground, or even yourself, the fear of being judged can be paralyzing. 3. Overwhelm. When your to-do list feels never-ending, it's easy to think, "There's no time for me." 4. Internalized beliefs. Maybe you were raised to believe that putting others first is a virtue. Undoing that belief takes time and effort. Rewriting the script. Here's a radical idea. What if prioritizing yourself actually makes you a better mother? When you take time to recharge, you show up for your family with more patience, energy, and joy. Think of it like putting on your oxygen mask first. You can't help others breathe if you're gasping for air. Permission granted. It's time to give yourself permission. Not permission from your partner, your kids, or society, permission from you. Say it with me. I deserve to prioritize my needs. This doesn't mean booking a week-long spa retreat, although, if that's an option, go for it. It means finding small, sustainable ways to carve out time for yourself in your everyday life. Start small. One step at a time. Let me tell you about Rachel. She's a mother of 3 who used to think me time was a luxury she couldn't afford. One day, after feeling particularly frazzled, she decided to do something radical. She closed the bathroom door, ignored the pile of laundry, and took a 15-minute bubble bath. It wasn't much, but it was a start. That one act reminded her how good it felt to care for herself, and it became a gateway to other small changes, like waking up 10 minutes earlier to journal or going for a walk after dinner. What Rachel learned is something every mother needs to hear. It doesn't have to be perfect to be worth it. Reflection exercise. Take 5 minutes right now to reflect on the following questions. Why does it feel hard for me to prioritize myself? What small step can I take today to change that? Write your answers down. If you're not sure where to start, here are some ideas. Take a quiet walk around the block. Read one chapter of a book you've been meaning to start. Brew yourself a cup of tea and enjoy it without distractions. Say no to one thing that doesn't serve you. Expert insight. According to Dr. Karen Lee, a wellness coach specializing in maternal mental health, mothers often struggle with the concept of self-prioritization because they equate it with neglecting their family. The reality is, prioritizing yourself is an act of love. It models healthy boundaries for your children and creates a happier, healthier household dynamic. Practical tips for prioritizing yourself. 1. Schedule it. Treat self-care like any other important appointment. Block out time in your calendar for it. 2. Communicate. Let your family know why this matters to you. Explain that taking care of yourself helps you take better care of them. 3. Start small. Begin with 5-10 minutes a day. Over time, those minutes will add up to meaningful change. 4. Find your non-negotiable. Identify one thing that makes you feel grounded, whether it's yoga, journaling, or sipping coffee in peace, and commit to it. 5. Enlist support. Ask your partner, a friend, or a family member to help you carve out time for yourself. Affirmation. I am worth it. Write this down somewhere you'll see it often. I am worth the time it takes to care for myself. Prioritizing my needs is an act of love, not selfishness. A warm reminder. Prioritizing yourself won't always feel easy, and that's okay. The important thing is to start. Even the smallest step can create a ripple effect in your life. Today, it might be 5 quiet minutes with a cup of tea. Tomorrow, it could be a morning run or a creative project you've been longing to start. Over time, these moments will remind you of something you may have forgotten. You are important too. So take a deep breath, let go of the guilt, and take that first step. The version of you that thrives, not just survives, is waiting on the other side.